How do we know we're nudging it the right way so the next time it comes around, it doesn't slam into Earth? Duh.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Or they nudge it enough where it still crashes into Earth. Or you go the other way. Oh, we'll just nuke it. Now, instead of having that big asteroid that might hit Earth, now you got thousands of pieces that is going to come raining into the Earth, and some of it's going to come through. And how much damage could that be? I mean, could you imagine watching TV in your living room and you have a hunk of a piece come through? It's not just going to come through. At the speed it would be coming through, your house wouldn't be a house anymore, let alone probably part of your block.
Right. Well, yeah. Put it like this: if one made it through and it didn't burn up and it was still about the size of the basketball, and you're 50 feet, it hit at one end of the house and you're at the other end, it's going to blow you quite a ways, because that's a lot of kinetic energy hitting, even at that size. And that's what people they're not realizing. And again, yeah, you break them up, now you're creating all kinds of bombs coming down at you, and it's tough stuff.
Now, this comet asteroid is coming by on Friday. Depending on where you live and the location, you can actually be able to see it.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. I don't want to see it. So I'm going to, stay in my studio and not even worry about it.
And, there's a lot of different variables that come into it, like the angle they come in, how fast they're coming in, how big they are. There's just different things, but I know the angles have a lot to do with it too. And, they don't even have to hit you. If they get close enough, it could just suck a lot of water and land. And still, that kinetic energy is so strong that wind of 200,000 mile an hour wind coming by, that's Lord knows how many people would just suck off the Earth or burn you up or something.
Well, whatever happened to the atmosphere on Mars?
Exactly.
They had water, they had lakes, they had rivers, they had oceans. They had mountains. Well, they still have mountains with snow on it, but, atmosphere, something blew it out. And who knows what it was. Was it maybe Planet X that came by one time? Think about it. Maybe Planet X took out their atmosphere, and that was the end of, civilization on Mars. And, maybe we are Martians. Maybe we are the aliens. Maybe some of them, they knew that was coming doom to Mars, so they came to, the only other planet was, livable, was Earth. We don't know what Mars looks like. We can only guess what Mars looked like. But, they figured that Mars at one time was a lush planet like Earth.
And that's true. And, this Planet X, if it's making this close by orbit every 3,600 years, who's to say in every 3,600 years, that goes back a lot of years. Who's to say that one of those years that was a little bit closer, because it moves every 36 years, it gets a little closer one way or the other, and maybe it got a little too close to Mars, and again, there's got to be a little tracer ones that's floating behind it, and maybe one of those little ones, it may be little to Planet X, but to Mars, it might have been big enough to blow the atmosphere clear off of it.
Well, yeah, just, again, think about it. Every time, if Planet X really does exist, it's still, you're not going to, again, I don't think NASA will admit to it, okay? But something is going on. I mean, they've been talking about Planet X since the 1990s, only because of, folklore and all this stuff. But again, I guess supposedly all these scientists went to the South Pole for some reason, government officials, and supposedly they have a observatory set up on the South Pole to watch and monitor the Planet X. So again, but they're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us about it. Maybe if they do, we can't do anything about it anyway, can we? Well, it's not like we're going to put sails on the Earth and, speaking about that, there's been some crazy scientists. Oh, yeah, we'll put rocket engines all around the Earth and we'll ignite them at the same time and we'll nudge the Earth, a little bit out of its.
Okay.
Oh, come on. I mean, I've heard.
You know what that would be like, Gary? That would be like peeing on a forest fire to put it out. Come on.
Like I got a better one. You take everybody who's obese, including me, right? And we all go to Quebec, Canada, and we all go in that city at the same time. That'll tilt the earth.
You know what that reminds me of? When I was a kid, they used to joke that if everybody in China jumped at the same time, it would cause a bunch of problems for us here in the U.S. Oh, my goodness.
You mean that's not true? I thought if everybody in China jumped up and down at the same time, it would cause earthquakes here.
Yeah, that's what they used to tell us.
Yeah, okay. Boy. Yeah, go underneath. Hey, if there's a nuclear war, go underneath your table. Yeah, I seen those films when they made those fake schoolhouses and little towns, and then they blew off a nuclear device nearby. There was nothing left of it. It all blew away. It was like gone. Poof. So what is going underneath the table going to do?
You're talking 300-plus mile-an-hour nuclear winds blowing by. There's nothing left. And that's funny because when I was in grade school, we used to have those Cold War drills, man. They would tell us to get underneath, huddle underneath them desks. And I would think even back then, because I'm looking at these cement walls and stuff like, if they fall in, I'm going to be crushed.
Yeah, well, what good is it going to do? As bad as Reagan made during the height of the, tension between the Soviet Union, because there was always talking about nuclear war back and forth. There was a really hostile period of time. And he made like a video, basically, it got out. In case there's a nuclear war, to protect your family and you, dig a hole about 6 or 7 feet deep. Take the doors off your house and lay it over the hole and put 3 feet of dirt over it. That 3 feet of dirt will absorb some of the radiation. Yeah, okay. Well, in my mind you dig a 7-foot hole, you get your family in it, put that. Somebody's going to be on top anyway, putting the dirt on, right? But regardless, it just makes it easier afterwards for cleaning up. They're already buried.
Yeah, you've dug and gotten your own grave. You just saved the government a lot of cleanup bills. That's exactly about what that sounds like.
Now, I don't know. Some of the ridiculous stuff. But anyway, tonight we had, Tim Swartz. He's always fantastic on the show. I mean, we could talk hours and hours, and the whole thing is, it comes down to, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know if we're actually being visited by aliens. We don't know if they're really abducting people. We don't know if it's from another dimension, if it's from the bottom, center of the earth, humanoids. Or is it the paranormal? We don't know. It seems like everything nowadays, because we can't answer it, is getting, it's the paranormal. It's the supernatural. Why not? I mean, if you can't come up with an answer, because there is no answer. The only people that know the truth, right, James, are the people that have been abducted and gone through it. They know the truth. Everybody else, you're just it's assumption to it happens to them. But I got a cure for it, okay? Well, we only got a couple minutes left. You know what? We should pick a date, January the 19th. Everybody go out in their backyard, get a high-powered spotlight, and aim it towards any weird, not airplanes, that is, anything that looks suspicious, and just everybody at the same time, all across the country. And let's see if we get visited.
Oh, Lord. Speaking of these things, listen, they could be interdimensional beings. They could be aliens. They could be us from the future. They could be demons mimicking aliens. There's so...
How would they know that? How could a demon even know about aliens? Come on.
You want me to tell you?
I don't believe that. Okay, don't get
in your mind.
Yeah, well, you know what? It comes down to it. Okay, there's millions of planets out there. Millions. I know that because I watch Star Trek. Okay, there is millions of planets out there. There's millions of different races of people out there, and if you think we're the only ones out of continuous space out there, it never ends, because there's no brick wall out there, I don't think, then you're as naive as my ex-wife.
Well, there's 400 billion galaxies with roughly 400 billion planetary bodies. If you do the math, times 400 billion times 400 billion, even Drake's equation roughly says there should be 10,000 intelligent living bodies of planetary bodies just in our galaxy alone.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Tomorrow on Night Dreams Talk Radio, as we got, well, what are we going to be talking about? Dave Oman. The Dave Oman house. Yeah. It's supposed to be haunted and all that stuff. So we got him on. So that should be a real good show with him on.
Yeah, because I think his house is real close by. The property there is where the Manson murders took place, and there's a lot of activity on that land. I think there's a little bit of Indian burial ground on top of that. So you mix that together, and you've got a perfect recipe for hauntings.
And we got Jeff in on the 6th. Kraus, whatever.
Jeff Krause.
Yeah, Jeff Krause. He's with MUFON. In fact, he's actually in California right now watching the premiere of the files, the
Project Blue Book.
Yeah, Project Blue Book. Anyway, we got to go. It's time to say goodbye, so we'll be back tomorrow. Again, I want to thank Tim Swartz and Wayne Wilson for being on tonight. And make sure you tell your friends about Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. And, go on to the website, donate $1 or $2, help pay for the bandwidth. We'll catch you tomorrow. Everybody have a great one. And Bye-bye. This is a great song sung by Earl Grey.
Scintillas in the street.